wonderful family you have.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to all the success and the love that y'all portray.
All right, my baby. Good night.
So Quincy, you got a new song coming out?
Yes.
Kim Porter says she dumped Diddy.
I feel like
In a statement to the TV show The Insider, she says she decided to end what she calls her on-again, off-again relationship with Sean Diddy Combs.
but at the end of the day, I'm wilder, I'm crazier. A lot of us are wilder and crazy.
New audio has surfaced shedding light on what Kim Porter endured before and after her breakup with Diddy. If the reports are true, she feared he might take her life. But why would someone who claimed to love her want her dead? One leading theory is that Kim was working on a Tello book, one that would expose Diddy's empire of crime and corruption. She was allegedly ready to reveal everything what he had done to men, women, and even children.
Kim Porter, do you know anything about her book? Because there's always been a rumor for a while now that, she got because she was exposing a lot of stuff in her book. Is there any truth to that?
Unless they can hide unless she did her book on Google Duo and it's in the clouds and they could get somebody to get it out of there, she ain't got no book. It's just a conspiracy. Kim, it was alleged that she did have a book and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy. All the men that they slept with together, because there were men that they slept with together. There were swinging times that they slept with together. I don't know, man. How do you put your girl through some shit like that? Or how you look at your girl and knowing that she's in another dude? What kind of demonic mind you have to be that far gone where that don't bother you for somebody that you love? But Kim Book was going to express all that. And I hope she did her book on Google Docs or she did her book somewhere that is floating in the cloud of the internet that somebody can go get it one day. Because any picture you take, anything that you write or say, it's in that internet cloud. It just gotta be, you just gotta go get it. And one day, somebody gonna go get it. But I'm sure that he probably got hold to those tablets or whatever she had, allegedly, and got rid of them. They swimming with the fishes.
Wow, man. So she was about to expose all that in her book, them sleeping with men together.
She was going to expose everything. I heard it was tell all.
By then, Diddy was a hugely successful businessman who couldn't afford any scandal, while Kim Porter seemed determined to tell the truth and expose him for who he really was. But there was one problem: she couldn't keep her book under wraps, and she never lived to see it published. On November 15, 2018, Kim was reported dead from pneumonia at just 47, shocking the celebrity world. How could someone in such good health die so suddenly from pneumonia? And why did her book vanish after her death? These unanswered questions pushed people to dig deeper, and what they uncovered about Kim Porter's fate was nothing short of horrifying.
From pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said it was ruled a homicide. They found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. Then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was survivors and the late of Uptown Records. They were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest. Because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning.
Yes, many, many years ago, I posted some information that was, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, kind of warned me all along the way to, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand why.
Because of Diddy.
Basically.
Do you believe that she died of pneumonia?
Absolutely not.
Why? What evidence do you have?
She was in the best of health. We just saw each other prior to her passing. We were actually celebrating our son's new Netflix Christmas special, and she was doing just fine. In fact, we were all at the event together at Netflix in the lobby. Sean, myself, the children, all having a great time. And I'm, grabbing Sean like, what? And she's in the back going, stop, So it was a really festive opportunity just for all of us to be together, because it's nothing like the circus that's out here. So it was a lot of the stuff, came to surprise, but a lot of the stuff will be.
That was Al B. Shore, Kim Porter's ex, who has never accepted that her death was natural. In a documentary, he recalled how Kim confided in him after she began dating Sean, saying something felt wrong and that his soul had turned completely dark. She even made him promise on their son Quincy's life not to reveal too much, as she feared for his safety. Al B. Sure remembered seeing Kim looking radiant just weeks before her sudden death at a screening of Quincy's film, The Holiday Calendar. While police ruled out foul play, he insists Kim was keeping a diary and had warned him to stay away or risk being killed. He explained this was why he wasn't around to raise Quincy, though he clarified the boy was never adopted by Combs, pointing out his last name is still Brown. Al B. Sure admitted he maintained secret contact with Kim over the years, which not only explains how he knew about her situation, but also why Diddy may have allegedly targeted him to
The mess for Diddy was over this week. Well, it looks like Al B. Sure, from the 80s and 90s, is chiming in at a recent event, alluding that possibly Diddy had something to do with his recent health scare where he was in a coma for 2 months.
We are going to be producing the Al B. Sure life story. So hold on to your britches. You'll really understand how I ended up in a coma. You're really going to need to call Homeland Security.
The fact that Al B. Sure is saying this so publicly makes me believe that he does believe that Diddy has something to do with it, and probably feels safe enough now to say something. Albie, he's still on the loose, even though he was recently spotted in Miami with his twin daughters, and then he was hanging out with Stevie J.
Diddy has a history of bullying women into relationships with him and bullying men away from the women that he desires to possess. And I can speak about that very clearly, because that's exactly what he did with Kim Porter and Al B. Sure. We've heard what was said. They were married. Quincy was on the way. He wrote Forever My Lady in honor of Kim and Quincy. They were happy. Diddy came into the studio and said, man, I wish I could get a beautiful girl like that. This is while he was still with Misa. And Justin was already born. And Diddy said, but you have a beautiful woman and a beautiful family. Apparently, Diddy wanted his. And you see how that turned out.
Did you get a chance to watch Al B. Shore's Good Morning America? I think it was Good Morning America, where he did an interview.
I watched some of it. I couldn't watch. I'm trying my hardest not to watch anything other than what I'm focusing on. But I saw what I could. And I'm happy that he's getting a chance to speak. I'm happy.
Definitely.
And I'm happy that he's there so that he can give accurate accounts from Kim. Because the truth is, if Kim Porter was still alive, she would be the star witness right now.
It's triggering.
It seems like, speaking of Cassie, it seems like Diddy does have a hold over her, that she can't really speak on it the way, like, I guess being in a room with him, because she hasn't been in a room with him for almost a decade now. And to be there, it seemed like it's hard for her to really say what happened. That effect, they call it Stockholm syndrome. They call it a couple different things, to where she might feel like maybe this.
You could try to dismiss people like Jaguar Wright or Gene Deal as not fully in the know, even if they're insiders with explosive claims now and then. But could you really ignore Kim Porter's own son if he believed Diddy had a hand in his mother's death?
He was a little skeptical about his mother. You know what I'm saying? And I would be too, man. I would be too. When you see the type of person you're dealing with, you hear the threats he put out there. I told y'all the threat he put with me. Then you look at the threat he gave Don. Like, people like, oh yeah, you know, when he threatened you, that's real. Nigga told you he could buy your whole block and shut every light off on that. You picture it. He got that money. Houses on your block gonna cost for $200,000. You get what I'm saying? So for a long time, I had PTSD before I knew what it was. I just figured out what it was maybe like 7-8 years ago, just by social media and just learning, you know, how we learn in this new age from sharing information, what PTSD was. You can ask anybody in Miami, man, everybody couldn't understand why I was riding around with a vest everywhere. I slept in one. So I can imagine what a female feel like getting a threat from him. What a female, and when a man's tracking your phone, beat your exes, blowing up cars, you scared to go. If I kept you in a hole all day and you starve yourself, but I keep putting bread in that hole, you're gonna eventually, yeah, I gotta eat. Eventually you can't go nowhere, nigga. That's basically what he's saying. Her bitch, don't go what you do. You can't go nowhere. You can't escape me. And a lot of this wasn't because he loved her. A lot of this was because she was in too deep. If you leave, you gotta die. And it makes sense of why you would kill her, or why Kim would die at an early age. No disrespect to her kids. I'm just being honest.
Gene Deal even revealed that he had spoken with Al a few times and exchanged texts, saying he fully understood why Al himself would feel the need to have bodyguards around him.
That Al knows that Puff has some powerful people, or has some powerful people around him, and some people doing some things for him that could danger his life. His life could be in danger. I don't think nobody would be paying for some security if they didn't think their life was in danger. So I could see Al doing that. I understand why Al is doing that.
When it came to Kim's death, Gene noted how strange it was that no electronic devices were found near her. No phone, no laptop even, though most people always keep a phone within arm's reach.
Realize, man, Kim's death wasn't even investigated, bro. Her death wasn't even investigated. And it should have been a proper investigation so all the family members can feel like that there was no foul play in her death. How is it that you know how we are as a people? I don't believe that 10% of your viewers that's watching this don't keep their phone when they go to sleep in arm reach. How is it that there was no electronic products or gadgets around Kim's bed? Her laptop missing, her cell phone's missing. Everything is missing that she could get in touch with her little girls if they not at home, or her friends or family. All that's missing. How is it that, and this is her say, that the detectives did not even view the body in the bed where she died at? That the coroner them had already removed her, pronounced her dead, and told the detectives them that it was no foul play. And if that is true, as I've heard it, and we read certain things on the internet about it, that case need to be reopened. We know that Kim, and it's in the this is in the documentation. Shout out to paperwork. At the paperwork part, I gotta shout him out, man, because he looked in the paperwork and it said Kim received a massage for about an hour when she's supposed to have full-blown pneumonia. Who gives somebody a massage when they got pneumonia? And do we know whether she used that baby oil or not for that massage?
He even claimed that a casket had been ordered for Kim months before her death. And if that's true, it only strengthens the suspicion that her passing was premeditated.
Order a gold casket 2 months before somebody died, man. If I'm gonna pay, or they gonna get the money up, what is it, to resume her body? If they gonna get the money up to dig her body back up and have a real autopsy done on there, have a real investigation on there, who's it gonna hurt? I've been knowing Al for a long time. And this is in the 90s when he walked through Eddie F. house and it was about 100 degrees. Me and him, we talk about this all the time because he be laughing about it. He walked through Eddie F. He was going to Eddie F. house in a black leather suit and it was about 100 degrees outside. Al ain't no fool, bro. Al is not a fool, and he's smart by getting extra security. I don't blame him at all. If I wasn't retired, I'd probably be working for him.
Gene found Kim's death deeply suspicious. Reports first said she was found one day, then again the next, before officially claiming pneumonia took her life. To him, that story didn't add up. With her wealth, Kim could have easily called a doctor or ambulance if things were that serious. Gene also questioned how her death was handled, even doubting whether a proper autopsy was ever conducted.
Had somebody at the funeral home, had a bodyguard at the funeral home watching the dead body for 24 hours up until the funeral.
Wow, I ain't know that. That's my first time hearing about that. But for the people that's not familiar with Diddy and Kim Porter relationship, can you let the people know a little bit about their relationship?
Well, Kim was very spoiled. Kim, Misha, Sarah Chapman, and Tanisha. Not so more Misha, but it was Tanisha, Sarah Chapman, and Kim. They were all good friends. Puff and Misha was together first, over there uptown and everything like that. I'll Be Sure was Kim's husband. Whatever happened to Kim and I'll Be Sure, Puff came in when he got that big contract, started getting the money. He started dating Kim. Tupac was dating Sarah Chapman. You know what I'm saying? Tanisha, she was with this dude that used to hang with Puff and them named Dodd and whoever else. They was all cool with each other. Puff, outside the physical, treated Kim like a king's queen. She ain't have to work. She did little acting jobs, little commercials. Got everything she wanted. Lived on 70-something Park Avenue. Not Park Avenue, 70-something on the west side by Columbus Avenue. Nice apartment. Had a maid. Had a babysitter. Treated her like a queen on the outside. On the inside, she was subjected to doing all the nasty, all the freaky things with other people that he wanted her to do. But I didn't see no complaint.
The circumstances surrounding Kim's death, the way it was handled, the questions about what she was working on before she passed, paint a damning picture for Diddy. It feels like a tightly sealed can of worms that's bound to burst open sooner or later, and when it does, it seems almost inevitable that Diddy will once again find himself facing the courts. For now, though he has far more immediate battles to fight,